Hi, Sachi this side from VideoTailor. We are a leading wedding and pre-wedding photography company of India. Today, we'll understand the perspectives of top event planners and decorators on the changing trends in weddings. We have asked them few questions and let us see what they have to say. So, is the trend changing from night weddings to day weddings?
If you ask a photographer anytime that would you want to capture a day wedding or a night wedding, they will always tell you a day wedding. Because everything comes stunning, the colors, everything. It's really nicely done.
Night has its own charm, you can't take that away. However, we just feel even from an involvement point of view, everyone is just more present at a day wedding than a night wedding. Night wedding is usually like 2 o'clock in the night or 1 o'clock in the night, and everyone just loses interest by then.
So the trend is definitely shifting, but again I think it's a 50-50. There are still those people, there's still those couples who want that whole old world charm, who still want those weddings at night under the stars.
Definitely, trends are changing to day weddings more, and even we recommend कि day weddings ज़्यादा करना चाहिए. Reason being, we are getting good pictures out of that.
People of like NRIs or people stay in south side, they prefer day weddings, but it is purely subject to this weather. Day weddings can happen only in winters, not in summers.
People want flowers, people want authenticity when it comes to their wedding, and now people have started taking attention to detail. And when we talk about detailing, it's better to do an outdoor setup than being in an indoor setup. A green setup will help you, have a nice colorful environment already, and then we accentuate it by adding high props.
Yes, somehow it is changing. There are, if I talk about the destination weddings, especially for Goa, people are going there for the beach wedding. If beach wedding happens in night, it will not create that magic.
Day weddings are much more appealing as there is natural sunlight, beautiful surroundings, and the photography, if I talk about, is amazing in natural sunlight.
I think the night weddings do have their charm, but if I speak about trend, the day weddings have literally taken over the market.
Is there a shift in choice of large-scale weddings to intimate destination weddings by couples?
More and more people are preferring destination weddings, because they've seen that how destination weddings they can celebrate with their near and dear ones and their close ones, and it's a lot of fun.
Weddings are a home of celebration. They are something you celebrate with the closest people, where every person knows who's attending, what is the relation, and why are they actually present there, because they are equally important to the bride side and to the groom side as well. I understand Indian families, and there are people who know like so many more people and they want to invite them for weddings and all. Have a reception.
So I think it needs to be a more overall kind of an approach for the family also, to understand that what kind of family they are and what kind of event they want to host. It's always a lot more easier to have a smaller gathering, because of course you'll be again calling the people who are very close to you.
Before COVID, it was more like 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 3,000 people. After COVID, it was like more intimate weddings, 100, 200, but now it's more like people are opting for 300, 400, 500 packs, not more than that.
Especially this Baniya community, which is ruling our industry. So they were very big shots. They told me that Manu ji, हमारे लिए बहुत बढ़िया काम हो गया कि हमारा तो समाज में बहुत expenditure, बड़ा exposure बहुत ज़्यादा था. तो we have got a very good chance कि intimate 50-100 लोगों में शादियाँ कर रहे हैं.
Somehow this thing came in the mind of the parents and the couples, when wedding can happen with 50 people or 100 people or 150 people, so why should not go with this kind of option?
There is a huge switch in terms of that, because destination weddings help you have smaller crowd come in rather than having a really big crowd coming in, and you can cut down your guest list when it comes to that.
So I guess every decision of the wedding should completely revolve around the couple and their personalities and their choices.
Absolutely yes, absolutely yes. People are more inclined towards having intimate weddings these days. That is why people choose destination weddings, so that they do not have to call a big lot of 500 or 1000 or 2000 people. So if I speak about 20 clients coming to Noorza for planning their wedding in a month, I can very confidently say like out of those 14 to 16 are destination weddings where people would not want to invite more than 150 to 200 people.
Is the destination wedding way too complex to organize in comparison to local weddings?
It might be complex, but we have very strict processes and systems which we've put in place and broken it down into a checklist format, which helps us to manage these weddings very easily.
Hire a wedding planner and nothing is difficult. I think life's very easy since the time people have started to confide in a wedding planner, and then like nowadays even like a medium class family wouldn't want to do anything without a wedding planner, because they understand the expertise that they come with and also the additional help that actually gets sorted for a family.
So it's primarily just taking care of the logistics of the family members or the guests who are invited and some of the vendors. And if it's an international wedding, then yes, there are visas and the additional ticketing. That's about it. The rest, everything is the same.
For local weddings, it's just about 3 to 4 hours. But when it comes to destination weddings, it is about giving that experience to all the guests, like over a period of 3 days.
Difference is only that a guest has to travel from Delhi to Jaipur or Delhi to Goa or to Delhi after residing at a place. I think it's one and the same thing.
I would say that it's not difficult for at least us to, we are familiar with these places. So when people come to us, the familiarization helps us to tell them and guide them the right way. May it be any city.
Already, vendors are lined up. If we talk about photographer, makeup artist, your decorator, so it does not make much difference.
Weddings itself is a complex thing to do and organize. But when we are traveling out or to any destination, yes, couple should definitely take in mind that there are a lot of other factors that may, change the decision, or a lot of cost might involve.
So homework increases for the client if they do not have a wedding planner on board, but for us it's not at all a complex process, because it's like a daily job. So according to me, doing a local wedding or a destination wedding is basically a lot more similar, because why not? That's our job.
Is the trend changing from red bridal lehengas to pastels?
Because I deal with so many brides, I would say it's a very personal opinion. Like, sometimes you can't take the basics away. Some things need to be old school, so that red will always have that charm for a bride.
It totally depends on what kind of overall look and feel they want for the wedding and what their personalities are like and what matches their personality.
There are so many brides who are always looking for red. Red is the only color that they want. But when it comes to day weddings, pastel is something that they prefer more, because the pictures come out nicer, and red being a very solid color and bright color.
She actually doesn't know what she has to wear. When she goes, explores market, meets makeup artists and everything. But yes, red, I don't see red anymore like much.
Now I see that brides come to us and prefer more on the pastel sides, on the pinkish sides, and you can avoid the red. It's a good thing that they're wanting to be more open, when it comes to their dresses, their churas. They're coming up with their own colors, and they don't have any myths about anything.
Brides are very choosy nowadays. They always talk about some designers. They talk about Manish Malhotra. They talk about Sabyasachi. They are not going to that Chandni Chowk wala lehenga. Nowadays they are going for some designer's lehenga.
So red can never go out of fashion or out from a wedding, if I talk about that. But yes, as the day weddings are growing, the fond for pastel is also growing eventually.
See, if I speak about not pastel, but brides these days are becoming more of experimental. They are not only inclined towards the pastel colors, but they would also want to go for colors like blue, yellow, orange, which we could have never thought if I speak about like 20 years before.
And has the trend of bride side paying for the wedding changing?
I feel it's definitely changing. It's absolutely become 50-50 now. Like both the families would come together, because when we are also hired as wedding planners now, we don't get hired for the bride side or the groom side. We get hired for the wedding.
So I definitely feel that there has been a shift where the both sides of the families are pitching in for the overall events.
So I think it really depends on the families, how they're taking it. But yeah, I think in future people will start chipping in, and I think it's so much better than having only one person pay.
Yes, definitely that trend has changed over the years, and the industry has witnessed that. That now both the families are equally bearing the wedding planning expenses, and which is quite welcoming and a much needed change in the industry.
Now people are much intelligent. I must say that they are contributing. I mean, groom side is also contributing in the budget. We have seen lot of weddings recently where groom side and this bride side sit together and they discuss about the budget.
And I think it is a very proud progress which is happening in our society, where earlier a lot of burden of the entire wedding used to fall onto the girl side, but nowadays people are very much inclined towards dutching the expenses like 50-50, and
Is the trend changing from arranged marriages to love marriages? And what is the percentage of love marriages covered by you?
Love marriages would be the future because we always follow the West, and that's how it happens in the West. So the parents also don't want to take the chance of saying that we've chosen the boy or we've chosen the girl and go and get married.
I don't know how much love exists, but people have started to believe again in the institution of arranged marriages only because the lifestyle of today's generation is so busy that if they have someone from a long time ago, maybe like for years and years ago, it's fine. But to find someone just like at the moment when you are at that marriageable age, the possibility of that has definitely reduced, and that's one reason that people have started to fall back on that whole arranged marriage route.
So see, my parents, when they got married, that was a love marriage. So that was 50 years ago. So I wouldn't say that the trend is changing. I think the trend has always been there. I think it only depends and truly depends on the couples. If you find that one person who you think you can spend the rest of your life with, great, it becomes a love marriage.
Like intercaste, interstate or cultural weddings, and sometimes it's like love come arranged also, when the families know each other for like 1-2 years or maybe 5 years, so they have been together. So mostly, but love marriages is becoming increasingly common these days.
I guess the love marriages are in more trend now.
Yes, love marriages are happening more nowadays. If we talk about our last 10 weddings, there are 7 weddings which were love marriages.
So we do get more of love marriages, which is also fun to know their story and how they began with. But the trend of arranged marriage hasn't died down. In terms of percentage, I would say it's a 60-40 ratio, but it definitely isn't like a 50-50 ratio, because
People are really welcoming and accepting the cross cultures, different social levels, and nowadays actually love has no bar in its true sense, if I talk about that.
Are wedding cards or invitations becoming obsolete?
I don't remember that anybody has used this. Only 5 or 11 cards we are asked to get them printed, only because they have to give to, first of all, to mandir and then to very immediate family.
People are shifting towards e-cards and e-invites nowadays for sure, because it's a lot more easier, because people want to be more environmentally friendly and want to be more ecologically friendly, and they are looking at more easier and eco-friendly options. So there is that shift that has happened towards e-cards and e-invite.
I don't remember the last time in 3 years that I have done a wedding card, except what people do is they take about 5-6 cards जो उनको एक मंदिर में चढ़ाना होता है कहीं, और किसी को गुरुजी को देना होता है, ऐसे वो 4-5 cards physical में बना लेते हैं, but otherwise for the guests it's all 100% digital.
Physical invitations are going off, more people are more focusing on digital invitations, but at the same place people are gifting more on the return gifts, giving physical gifts. So in terms of invitations हो या gifting हो, physical तो है, थोड़ा बहुत physical touch देना ज़रूरी है, but at the same time I guess invitation wise, yes, digital is going more now.
Let's say we consider a family which is based in the US or like outside India. They might not divulge into this, but someone who's based in India would any day, go, like the whole happiness of going to someone's house and inviting them for your own son's or daughter's marriage, that happiness is irreplaceable.
But muh meetha karna is a very big thing in India. So We still have that concept, but mostly people prefer your e-cards, your e-invitations, and something like a video, etc. I think that works better now because the commute in Delhi is becoming difficult. And
after the COVID, this trend is going on where people are not opting that hard copy of the invitation. And nowadays, yes, people are selecting some creative videos, some good videos for the invitation. They are not going to any designer or the Chavadi Bazaar for doing all that invitation work.
Wedding invitations are definitely there, just that they have become more digitalized. But in my belief, I think it's the first sign of hospitality. So one should personally deliver to the guest or to whom they need to invite. So the trend of giving the cards personally and paper cards should be back in the trend.
I would say that it would not completely vanish off from the market because it does holds some difference in very important guests to less important guests, which is very practical.
Which theme or color in decor is most picked by the couples these days?
People are looking for authenticity and more nature towards outdoor driven weddings, hence the pastel hues that look best outdoors.
So for us, it's always about what the couple is like, what their families are like, what their personalities are like, and we like to bring those attributes and those things into even the decor.
So people like a lot of pastels, and so I would say that for the day wedding they like pastels. For the night wedding they like a lot of red, gold, royal, bling. So it's really personal to every couple what they like.
For the decor, and like we have seen, definitely it's on the pastel colors. Some people are also liking brides off-white and an all-white theme wedding.
Always, every season, we have to get a few new colors. Like, abhi for this coming season, a burnt orange is a new color. Lilacs in daytimes are going like, or emerald green, grays. These are combinations coming up.
It's all about what the person we are dealing with is all about. So if that person is all about reds, our ear is all about reds. If you are all about greens, we'll make it all about greens. So it's you who actually will depict that for us.
Now people are not opting that red color and some traditional colors. Those colors maybe are no more with the weddings nowadays.
The trend is of ivory, if I talk about, because ivory is a forever color to go with. You can never go wrong with ivory, and it, as it is specified, signifies more of purity and peace, and which is very important in any relationship also.
Obviously light colors. People are very much inclined towards beige, off-white, greens, more of natural colors. Like we said, the trends are shifting more towards the day wedding. So automatically the shades come into the picture, which actually are complemented by the daylight.
Is there a decline in the number of large-scale weddings?
Before COVID, yes, a lot of large-scale weddings were happening. And nowadays, people have changed their mind that let's do with the small gathering.
After COVID, there was a short time where people were still preferring to call in lesser numbers, but I do see that when you have your mehendis and haldis and all these small functions, people want to stick to their 80 to 100, 150 people. But when it comes to one big function like a reception or like a sundowner wedding, they want to have a bigger guest list.
I'll be very biased towards this because as a company we do not do weddings which are more than 200 or 250 people. So for me and Akshay, we don't even understand why a large scale wedding has to exist.
What point matters the most in planning a wedding?
There's always a plan B, always. Like whenever we're doing any of the weddings, especially internationally when we're doing it, so it's more like always a plan B and more like always having the second option, so that if there's some problem, we have a second option along with us.
And keeping everyone happy in the family is also one thing, that because each and every member of the family wants different things.
So it's very important to understand who you're hiring to be your planner, because they will be there with you all the time. So don't hire somebody just because XYZ has say favored them or suggested them, or your best friend had them at their wedding.
You can have everything ready at the back end, but if it's not at the venue on site on time, then there is no value of that.
Firstly, definitely hire a wedding planner because it definitely reduces your stress, and you know how we do go to a doctor, right, when we have like something, so you always have to trust an expert to plan something.
Details matter a lot. That what we ask to the guest, that we will be planning, अगर 2 दिन या 3 दिन की बात है, we will be planning your 72 hours or 48 hours, meeting you again and again at your places, and then to execute those plannings which we have done with you all. तो ये एक बहुत detailed काम.
And we also always suggest to our brides and grooms that if you're wearing a darker tone, then you go in for a lighter shade in terms of your decor. And whereas if you're wearing a lighter tone, you end up going for darker shades in terms of decor. That you stand out. Your pictures come out nicely.
The only advice is just be passionate, keep researching about the industry because it changes every month. The trends are changing. Do not stop learning, right?
Nice framed checklist with set goals and deadlines. That is the major thing that will play a major role in setting your planning well.
We received such amazing answers and insights from all of them. We hope these answers will help you in your own wedding planning. Keep calm and stay tuned.